Hi, welcome back. It's great to see you again. Thanks for dropping by. I really do appreciate it. So I have a smart dryer, which really just means that it's using a separate vendor app. Spoiler alert, I don't really use it. I actually use a Hex integration, but that's a future video. But my wash machine, completely done. So we never really know when a load's actually finished. And if you saw my previous plant video, you'll know we can be a bit forgetful. Wet washing, that's not very forgiving. So a while ago, I did try and solve this problem using a power monitoring plug. But washing machines don't really draw constant power. It changes throughout the cycle. And if you use soak cycles, it gets even worse. I was getting a lot of false positives. I also built the logic in Node Red. And honestly, I really overcomplicated it. Notifications were sporadic and didn't repeat reliably. So let's revisit this and properly smartify this washing machine. And this time, I'm going to keep it as simple as I can, but make it reliable. Instead of relying on just that one signal, I'm going to combine a few different sensors so we actually know what's happening. So to solve this properly, I'm going to use 3 different signals: the power monitoring, vibration detection, and contact sensor. Each on its own isn't that reliable, but together they work really well. Third Reality kind of provides some of these devices I'll be using for this video for review. This isn't a sponsored video and all opinions are my own. So let's start with power monitoring. When a washing machine is running, power usage is higher. Makes sense. When the cycle finishes, the power drops. Again, makes sense. Sounds simple, but normally washing machines pause. They go on soak cycle and then change speed. So power on its own isn't that reliable. Next is vibration detection. While the washing machine is spinning, we can clearly detect movement. But during the quieter parts of the cycle, the machine can go quiet. So vibration on its own might not be that reliable either. Finally, we have the contact sensor. This tells us when the lid's opened, which is useful, but only after the wash is finished. It doesn't tell us that the cycle is completed. It only tells us that someone's lifted the lid to remove the washing. So again, on its own, it's just not good enough. So instead of just relying on one signal, let's combine all 3 and get a better context. If power's high, we know the machine's running. If the vibration is detected, we also know that the machine's running. When the power drops and the vibration stops, we can nearly assume that the cycle is finished. Before we start connecting this all together, let's quickly look at the sensors we'll be using. For this setup, I'll be using a contact sensor for the lid, a vibration sensor for the motion, both provided by Third Reality. The power monitoring plug is one that I've had lying around. Third Reality do have these as well, however, unfortunately not for the Australian and New Zealand market. So first up, let's look at the door and window sensor. Opening the box, we can see it's a nice tidy package. We've got the adhesives, manual, we can see the device here. But the great thing is, as if you've seen any of my other videos, I despise coin cell batteries. And so Third Reality have these units using AAA batteries, and they've provided them with the devices, which is great. Tab, open it, and they've got screws as well for if we want to mount this to a wall. We'll be mounting this using the adhesives, and simply installing the batteries should put it into pairing mode. This is a Zigbee unit, and we can see here it's flashing blue, so it's looking to be paired. And there's a reset button here that we'd press and hold if we need to reset the unit. I'll just take the battery out just for now. Next up is the vibration sensor, a small tiny box. We have the manual. Again, we've got adhesives, and then we've got the device. The device is nice and compact. And if we open it up, slide it up, we can see again the batteries, AAA batteries, which is awesome, are installed with a pull tag to be removed. If I pull that out, it'll go into pairing mode as well. On this unit here, we have the sensitivity levels. We've got 4 different sensitivity levels. We've got very high, medium, and low. I've got this set for high. It's got a reset just like the other one if we need to repair it. And this actually has a 110 decibel siren, which you can turn on or off. We're going to make sure that that is turned off. We won't be using it in this setup, so we'll leave that at the moment. We'll come back to pairing shortly. So before we physically install them, we'll go and pair them with into Home Assistant. I'm using Zigbee to MQTT, so we simply pull that tab out, and we can see that it is flashing. We'll do the same for this unit. Now we'll flick over through to Home Assistant. Let's jump over into Home Assistant. And if we go to Zigbee to MQTT, and we simply go permit to join on devices, and we can see the door sensor adopting. Let's go and name that. And updates the Home Assistant entity. Now let's do the same with the vibration sensor. So I press and hold the reset button for about 5-10 seconds, and we'll go into pairing mode. Here we go. See, I've already got the laundry plug in here. Let's go and rename this. We've got our laundry washing machine lid, our plug, and our vibration. If we come over into MQTT, the lid, the plug, and the vibration. Click on the vibration. There we go. We go to the lid. There we go. It's closed. Open, closed. So that gives us contact sensor, the vibration sensor, and then separately we've got our Zigbee plug. The great thing about Home Assistant is it doesn't all have to be Zigbee. We could be using ESP home devices, we could be using Wi-Fi devices, we could be using Matcher devices. It just so happens that I'm using all Zigbee devices in here. Want to use these devices and you don't have a Zigbee network, Third Reality also offers a smart bridge, the Smart Bridge MZ1. This allows you to add the Zigbee devices into the bridge and then expose them over Matter. So if you've got a Matter border router, like a Apple Home Pod, a Google Nest, you can then expose those Zigbee devices through that. Now that everything is paired, we can go and install the sensors. Starting with a contact sensor. This will go on the lid so we know when the washing machine's open. There is a chance the lid gets open during the cycle. For example, someone adding some clothes to the load. So we only use the lid state once the washing is actually finished. Next is a vibration sensor. We'll sit this on the side of the washing machine so we can detect when it's moving. While the washing machine is spinning, we should see constant vibration. And finally, we've got the power monitoring plug. The contact sensor will give us the lid open and close state. The vibration sensor tells us when the washing machine is actually moving. And lastly, we've got the power plug, which gives us the power usage. So with these three sensors, we now have everything we need to build the automation logic. You may have already caught though, that there is another edge case. We often run a soak cycle, which can just sit there almost doing nothing for quite a long time. Although with our washing machine, there's usually an occasional agitation. That means the power's low and there's very little vibration, which could look like the washing machine's actually finished when it's just soaking. So instead of triggering immediately, we add a short delay. Only when the power is low and there's no vibration for a good period of time do we mark the cycle as finished. And if activity resumed, the timer simply resets. Now, at this point, we've got basically the building bricks. We've got the power monitoring, the vibration, and the lid state. Each one of those gives us a separate part of the picture. But when we combine them, we get a much better context around what the washing machine is actually doing. Now that we've got basically all the signals sorted, let's bring us into Home Assistant and look at the automation. In this video, I won't go step by step in building this, but I'll show you the logic I'm using. If you are interested, I'm happy to share more detail. Just let me know in the comments below. So before we look at automation stuff, I just want to show you the helpers I'm using. The helpers allow us to keep the logic a lot cleaner, but it also makes it a bit easier to tune later on without having to rewrite the automation. So first of all, we've got two helper booleans here. We've got the washer running and the washer finished. The washer running tells me when the cycle is actively in progress, and the washer finished tells me when the cycle is completed, but there's still laundry to be waiting to be removed. And then we've got a couple of timers here. First is a finish delay timer. This one's really important because it stops the quiet parts of the wash or the soak cycles from being treated as if the machine's actually finished. So instead of triggered immediately, the automation triggers the delay to go into a wait cycle, and then it'll check again. I've got my wash delay set to 10 minutes. And also we've got the washer reminder timer. This is what drives that repeat notification automation. So once the washing machine's actually marked finished, this timer will start. When it completes, it'll trigger the next reminder and then it'll restart again. This continues until the washing is actually removed. And then we've got two thresholds here. The running power threshold is for when we consider the washing machine to be running. And then the finished power threshold is for when we consider it to be idle or finished. The nice thing about doing it this way is that we can tune these as we go if we find that we need to. I kind of found my sweet spot to be anything over 20 watts and anything under 10 watts. Over here we've created some quiet hours, so this is anything after 8:30 at night and before 8 a.m. in the morning. That will suppress those speaker notifications. I'll still get notifications going to my phone, but they'll be silent after these times. So it basically means during the day when we're home, it will announce over the speakers, but overnight it'll just send a silent phone notification instead. So it keeps it pretty useful without having to yell the house down at 2 a.m. in the morning. So let's flick over to the automation. So here's how the automation works. We're using the power, the vibration, and the lid sensor to determine when the washing machine is running and when it's actually finished. So obviously we've got all these triggers here. So when it goes under that threshold, when the vibration's cleared for 90 seconds, when there's vibration detected, and obviously when these timers completed. They do a lot of different logics around those, so I won't go into it too much. So depending on the trigger, it'll go down through these different options. So as we can see, mark is running, which is when it's risen above that threshold, it'll cancel any timers and it will go and turn the washing machine to running and just make sure that the boolean finishes off as well. So during the wash cycle, if it's triggered to fall below or the vibration has been cleared for 90 seconds and the washing machine running state is on, checks to see if the power is less than threshold and it's not vibrating. If so, then I'll turn that 10-minute delay on. When the time is completed and the washing machine running state is on and power is below the finished threshold and it's not vibrating, then I'll go and turn the washing machine into a finished state, send a notification to my phone, and then branches out. So depending on if family's home and if it's quiet hours, it'll go through and announce on the speakers, and then it will go and start the timer action for the reminder timer. And when the reminder timer completes, it goes and does it again. So if the washing machine is still finished state is on and the lid is still closed, then I'll go over and do all those same tasks again and go and start the timer again, and then continually loop. When it's triggered by lid open and the washing machine state is on, it'll go and turn that to finished off and cancel any timers so we don't keep any notifications. And the logic's there that the washing machine finishes while no one's home. We'll still get a notification on our phones just to remind us. Once we get back, it'll start reminding us again and then go into that 10-minute loop cycle. So we don't come home and forget that there's actually washing in the machine.
The washing machine has finished. The washing machine has finished.
So with that in place, we now get a notification when the washing machine actually finishes. If it's still sitting there, we'll get reminded every 10 minutes. And if no one's home, it'll pause those notifications until someone gets back. And that's it. With a few simple sensors and a bit of logic, we've taken a completely dumb washing machine and we've made it smart. No cloud, no vendor lock-in, and no more forgotten washing. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. It really helps me understand which types of videos are helpful. And if you're up to it, I'd really love for you to subscribe so we get to see more of each other. So as always, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate you taking the time, and I'll see you in the next video.